Hey guys, RegularRevenge here, and today I am back for day number 13 of R/Regular Revenge, and we're almost at 2 weeks, which is just ridiculous. At this point, I have gone 10 weeks total, which is just maddening to think about. Okay, but anyways, I have 3 stories for today. Let's start with the first one. Leave an upper decker in our toilets, get banned from every hotel in town. Tried posting this in Pro Revenge, got a very good reception before mods removed it and said it didn't fit there. Maybe it fits here. I worked at the front desk of a fairly popular hotel brand in a college town. The university was hosting a flag football intramural competition, and we had a team staying with us from out of town. Well, as the title says, they left upper deckers in 3 of our toilets. For those of you who don't feel like going to Urban Dictionary, that's when you go number 2 into the toilet tank, so every time when you flush the toilet, it gets everywhere. Basically, it's a spray of shit all over the place instead of water. The owners of our hotel own another one in town, and the school the team comes from immediately got out on the do not stay list, as well as a cleaning fee for each toilet, which is great, but I'm married to the head of maintenance department and my dear hubs had to clean the mess, so I was not satisfied. I'm good friends with most of the other front desk agents at the hotels in town and spent the next week telling them what happened and getting the team out on their do not rent list, because who wants to deal with that shit? Literally. I didn't think I'd get to see this come back around, but fast forward 6 months and university is holding another competition. Same out of town team calls the hotel trying to book, only to be told they aren't welcome. Coach blazes off because there are many hotels in that town, and if y'all are too good to take our money, then fine. Only to find out that they can't stay at any of them, / the ones they want to stay at aren't good quality. Coach is angry, demanding we let them stay, blah blah blah. I am able to double down and cite previous behavior, stating that we just can't take the chance. I heard through the grapevine they ended up having to stay 30 minutes away from our town, play shitty games, win shitty prizes, and get poo spread all over a different hotel if you're gonna be like that. Oh my gosh. Just the pinnacle of shit spraying at that point. I did not know that an upper decker was pooing in the top tank, so that when you flush, it goes everywhere. Ugh. Oh, it just makes me gag just thinking about that. Ugh. It shouldn't really be possible to lift off the top of a toilet, right? I get you can lift it off to pour water in, so that and like flush out the system, stuff like that. But I feel like there needs to be something for not letting the customers get into that area of the toilet and just leaving an upper decker. Karen refuses to file accident report with insurance. The accident happened last summer, but it came to a conclusion yesterday. I had my car parked in front of a supermarket to grab some snacks for the road. When I get back to my car, I see a car turned into the spot next to mine. As I walk towards the driver's side door, I notice a serious scratch on the rear fender. She gets out and we check the damage. At this point, she offers me $100. But I have a feeling it's going to be more expensive. I decline. The car isn't even a year old at the time. Now, this is in Europe. We have a standard accident report form to take down the facts about the incident so the insurance companies can determine liability. Unfortunately, neither of us had one of those forms with us. Well, I didn't. She just said she didn't, but she didn't even check. We exchanged phone numbers and would get in touch later to fill out the form. The next day I go to a car repair shop. They give me a quote that's well over $1,000. Even though this is a matter for the insurance, she asked me for the quote, which I give her. She thinks it's too expensive and wants me to get another quote. I decline as it's her own clumsiness that's already been taking too much of my time. So I let her know that I just want that report form filled out. I mail her a form where I fill out my half so she can add her side. In the next few weeks, I repeatedly asked her to return the form, but she says she hasn't got around to it yet. Finally, I give her an ultimatum, or hand it off to legal counsel. At this point, she blocked me. Obviously, I do as I said, report the incident to my insurance and let them know the other party wouldn't cooperate. At this point, I just wanted the repair done and paid for. My insurance would pay most of it. I just owed a £300 deductible. Of course, my insurance company would try to get her insurance to pay, but as I understand it, she kept refusing to file the report. Now, my car has video cameras all around, and the accident was clearly visible. Last week, my insurance company called and asked me for that footage. Yesterday, I got a call that, based on the video, her insurance was accepting liability, so I'm getting the $300 deductible refunded. The unintended revenge? She's probably going to get expelled from her insurance because apparently she broke a law by not cooperating. So instead of paying a slightly higher premium, she's now going to have to go shopping for probably a much higher premium. Because cheap is not good for her. And also she just fails at cooperating in any form. It's just like you save heartache and trouble just by playing ball. But no. The $100 is fine. Just the $100 is fine. Just like it. To fix my car it costs $1,000. You're paying me 1/10 of what you owe me. Or like not even 1/10, it's 1/3 of what you owe me. Like in the end, she only ended up paying like $300. I'm pretty sure. So, like, that's not a loss. Sold my car. New owner tries to make me pay over $2,000 in fees. Oh. So I was in college. I bought an old 1974 Mercury Comet with the intent of fixing it up because I loved older cars. However, due to being a broke college kid, I eventually realized that I bit off more than I could chew and started looking to sell the car. It's a pretext. My apartment had one street where everybody could park if they didn't pay extra for private parking space. and I couldn't afford to have a private spot, so this is where I parked. Since the street was a public street, they had a rule where you couldn't leave your car parked in the same spot for more than 72 hours, or else the car was technically abandoned, and they had the right to tow it. Now, I had problems with this rule since I had gotten the car. Most of the time this rule is pretty much ignored, as everyone parking there either lives in the apartment complex or they were parked there because it was the closest free parking area to my city, and all the cars just blended in with each other. The problem with my car was that it stuck out like a sore thumb, being from 1974 and immediately looking like it could even start. So I'd gotten a decent amount of fines and tickets from them, but I was always able to contest and win because I could prove I live on the street, and I always made sure I moved it to the other side of the street every 2 to 3 days so they legally can't tow it. I couldn't tow it. Safe to say, every time the cars on my street were checked, they kept an eye out for mine to give some BS reason they could ticket me or fine me. They really didn't like me. Fast forward to selling my car. It took a while to find somebody to sell the car to, but after a couple months, I finally found a buyer. He was a little older than me, but not by much. I was only getting $1,500, which sucked because I paid close to $2,500 for the car, but I thought I got my money's worth of driving around and was just glad to get something from it. He told me he couldn't pay all at once and wanted to know if he could do a payment plan for the car, which I agreed to because I just wanted the car gone. So I wrote up a contract with everything detailing the sale in it, which he signed, I signed, and a witness, his friend who happened to come with him to come help him with the car, also signed. I got $500 in cash, and then a few days later, the car was gone. So that was the end of it, or so I thought. Fast forward a few weeks later, and I got a letter about the car. The car had been towed and was still in my name, because I completely forgot to do a title transfer when I sold the car, and had how much I owed at the bottom for the storage in the tow yard. Almost $2,000. Oh, jeez. I checked the date it was towed, and it had been towed a couple days after I made the sale, because the buyer never took the car. What also confused me was that it had been weeks, and the buyer had never said anything to me asking about the car and where it was. So I messaged him and tried to call him, letting him know what happened. He didn't get back to me until 6 days later, asking where it got towed to and if the car was still there. I gave him the information, and he called the company to ask how much the total cost for the car was now. It had gone well over $3,000 now. Then I get a short message back that says, "Yeah, bro, it's too much. It's already at over $3,000. I'd rather just get my $500 back." I'm sorry, the fuck? I get a hold of him and basically tell him he's not getting his money back and that this is on him. He shouldn't have left the car there for days, which I warned him about before he bought the car. He proceeds to tell me, "Look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way." To which I tell him he's not getting his money back and he needs to pay the towing company to get the car back. He immediately hangs up and sends me a message that says, "I'll see you soon." I, a 20-year-old student who has never dealt with anything regarding the law, is now freaking out because the new buyer basically said, "Fuck you," while I'm sitting here with an ever-increasing bill of over $3,000 in my name. Then I remember something, the signed contract that 3 people signed. You're not going to acknowledge the fact that this guy just threatened you for over $500. Because, like, I'll take that way more seriously. I'd be calling the cops. The Revenge. So I find the contract in a folder in my closet and immediately take pictures of it, just in case I need them, and then call the towing company to explain everything. The guy is super nice at first, tells me I might be completely screwed as I never sent in a tow transfer to the DMV. However, once I bring up the contract, he says, "Oh, you have a signed contract from before the car was towed? That's great. You should be fine as long as you get a title transfer indicating the sale date with the contract as proof to the DMV." I found out you could do one completely online, and once I sent it in, I didn't get any more messages from the towing company. However, I did end up calling the tow company a few weeks later to make sure I was in the clear, and what he told me was glorious. So the buyer didn't pick up the car for a while, so it continued to accrue more and more fees until it reached over $4,000. But that's not the best part. The best part was him telling me after a certain amount of days, the car gets auctioned off if it hasn't been picked up, and the owner of the car still has to pay all the fees for the car for storage. By the time the guy who tried to screw me $2,000 finally called to pick up his car, the towing company made sure to get all his information, name, address, etc. first, and then let him know that the car was already auctioned off, and then slapped him with around $4,500 in storage and towing fees. I couldn't be happier. Oh, and if the buyer who tried to screw me is reading this, go fuck yourself. Like, again, it's not even like OP's fault in this situation. Like, again, all the other guy had to do was literally just drive off with the car, and then everything would have been fine. It would have been perfectly fine for that situation. And tow company would have towed away the car or anything like that, and then it wouldn't have accrued money. Like, yes, OP only got $500, but the person that tried to screw him over had to pay $4,500, which is not a loss at all. It's like OP didn't get $1,000, but the other guy is most likely broke. Okay. Anyways, links will be in the description to my main channel and also the channel that you're on right now that has links to the playlist in the last episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, on the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.